Hey guys, I'm making this video to tell you about my experience being on Musician Mansion Season 2 with Jared Dines. I want to thank Jared so much for asking me to be on this season. I couldn't have said no to this opportunity. I actually watched Season 1 last year and I love the idea and concept of it. I've gotta admit that I'm a fan, and it's wild that I ended up being on the series. Also, welcome to all of my brand new subscribers that discovered me from Musician Mansion Season 2. The first thing that I want to go over is, how did I get to be on this show? Here's what happened. Back in May, which was almost 8-9 months ago, Jared followed me on Instagram. I was really shocked and surprised. I had a feeling deep down inside that he may ask me to be on Musician Mansion Season 2. I was actually right. He messaged me and asked me if I was interested. And of course I said, hell yeah, I am. So after, he called me and explained all the details and information. Paula was actually the one that referred me. She found me from Instagram and told Jared about me. So a little backstory. I was going through a hard time that month and I actually fell into quite a deep depression. And I was just questioning my life, and I had to back out of a tour that had a lot of red flags with the person that was running it. I just felt like an idiot announcing that I would be drumming for that band, but then later backing out. I also kept comparing myself to many others. This is something I struggle with. I regret not starting to play drums when I was a lot younger. I was actually 19 when I started. On my 19th birthday, that's when I got my first drum set to practice on, so that's a little over 7 years of practice. People I know that are touring and are way better than me have been playing since they were like 5. So of course I'm gonna feel like crap. I felt stuck on content ideas. My Instagram engagement was trash and it's still getting low likes. I know this sounds silly, but this is something that so many of us content creators go through. Likes are literally serotonin. I'm not sure if you ever had a video go viral, but when mine have, I literally keep refreshing the notifications pages to see the numbers of likes it keeps getting. When it's low and not performing well, I get a little bit frustrated. I know I shouldn't base my worth on social media. I should just get back to my drums and practice. I saw the group chat of who was gonna be in Musician Mansion 2. Well, everyone is insanely talented. Jared texted me to learn a song for the drum challenge. I immediately started writing on it. I opened up a Logic Pro session to start recording over the drumless track. I'm a drummer who typically just likes to play with a band. I don't really shred and solo that much. Another thing that freaked me out was that it was a metalcore song. I'm a pop rock kind of drummer. I don't play in metal bands. I have learned how to play some metal songs, but haven't fully learned a song with very extremely fast double bass, and that's something I should work on. I don't practice double bass enough. I love metal and post-hardcore, but for some reason I end up playing in pop punk, pop rock bands. I've always wanted to play in a metal band and to challenge myself more, but I haven't found the right people to work with. I just want to level up my style and skills. By being in a band like that, it would help. I practiced the drum song challenge note to note. I struggle with memorizing things, and sometimes it takes me much longer than others. Plus, I'm on these meds, and the side effects are fatigue and memory loss. I'm sleepy a lot. The mansion was located in Palm Desert. That was a good thing because I live 2.5 hours away, so I ended up driving the night before the first day, aka Musician Mansion Eve. I barely slept. I had so much anxiety and was so curious about what the challenges will be. I actually knew a few castmates before meeting everyone else. 2 years ago, I met Jimena and Chenna at NAMM. I also met Ricky last year when I was on tour and played a show in Atlanta. I knew Greystone from watching Season 1, and Jared told me they were gonna make a comeback, and I got really excited. When I first got to the mansion, there was a gate with a code to get in. When it opened, I saw an extremely long driveway with 3 houses, a pool, and a mini lake with a kayak. The first house I saw was called The Bungalow. That's where I would be staying, and same with the new bands and cast members. Greystone, Jared, and everyone else stayed in the main house. There was a golf cart we all used to travel travel from the bungalow to the main house. The main house had the Sweetwater soundstage where we would perform. It looked so cool and professional. The first person I met was actually Damien, and he showed me where the bungalow was. I got there at around 12 o'clock, and everyone else got there a bit later. I immediately claimed the room for the girls. We made sure we got the bigger bathroom since us girls need that. The boys definitely understood. There was a power outage that happened at around 10 p.m., so that ended up delaying our call time the next day to film the first scene. That night, I didn't sleep well because my mind was racing with so many thoughts. I was so nervous but excited at the same time. When we got our bands formed randomly by choosing a microphone with a number on it, I was so glad to have the girls in my band. Our first challenge was to write a song with no limits or restrictions in 24 hours. We had to figure out everyone's strengths and our influences. David and Casey were the strongest songwriters in the band by far. I was the only one who brought my laptop, and that helped us out tremendously. Everyone in Eris was all over the place style-wise, but we did somehow make it work. When we went first for the first challenge, I was shaking the entire time. I messed up a fill so badly at the end. I was extremely embarrassed, especially after Hiram called out my drums being sloppy. It didn't really help reading the comment section. Of course, nobody will sound 100% after being a band for a day and writing that song in 24 hours. Those comments were really tough to read. If you ever plan on being on that show, you have to have thick skin. The internet can be extremely harsh. The second challenge is where we changed things up a bit style-wise. We had to use clean guitars, 2 time signature changes, and a drum solo. The drum solo part really got me extra nervous because I never had soloed in a song before. I wrote and recorded my drum solo idea in Logic and kept practicing that part on repeat. The song Judith by Perfect Circle is what inspired me. That is what influenced me during that 3/4 break where I put the drum solo in. I had a click in my in-ears and I was keeping time as much as I could. I sounded off because sometimes electric drums are quiet and I was using my hi-hat foot, which is the softest sound on the electric drums. It wasn't really anyone's fault except not being able to 100% hear the hi-hat pedal. Another thing is that my in-ear headphones were cutting out on the left side. I was the first one to go for the drum challenge. Going first is always the most nerve-wracking, especially being the drummer with the least playing experience. Like I said earlier, I played the drum challenge like a song. It wasn't 100% the style of music I was used to playing, but I somehow made it work. When I saw Damien play after me, it was really cool seeing the way he approached the track. It was so different, but then similar in certain parts. When Logan started to play, my mind was blown away. It's because how technical and fast he can play. He sure did not skip practicing rudiments. Rudiments are so important. He whipped out blast beats and ghost notes. My jaw completely dropped. He for sure won that one, and I don't even care. I thought the third challenge was cool because we had to change singers. We made the song suit Vince's voice, which is a very soulful style. We decided to make it funky rock. It's literally called What the Funk. David was the one who came up with the sick guitar parts. The breakdown part where the guitar and beat change style kind of reminded me of Nirvana's song Come As You Are. Nirvana is actually one of my biggest influences, so that made me happy. Vince came up with the lyrics and melody. It was all one big group collaboration. The double bass part I played in verse 2 was actually David's idea. When we had the cover challenge, you would think that would be the easiest thing to do. It actually was the opposite. We chose Respect because Casey only knew the words to that song. David and Casey worked on the arrangement on my laptop. We wanted to add a heavy breakdown at some point of the song. The half-step 16-bar key change was so annoying. At least I don't have to worry about that since I'm a drummer. Everyone was losing their mind. Even Greystone was not having it and procrastinated to the very last minute. They told me that they procrastinated after they were done. After all of the challenges were done, we had to review all the songs we wrote. The crew had to pack up the gear by 6 p.m. on that day, so we didn't have much time. We ended up going to a rehearsal studio 20 minutes away. We sounded way better once we were were there for 3 hours reviewing everything. We also needed a change in environment after being trapped in that bungalow practice room for so many days. Everybody's mental health was just so on edge. It wasn't just me. This was the most stressed I have been in a long time, believe it or not. When we got to Chain Reaction, we had to load in and run a sound check. Everybody was so exhausted in the green room. At this point, I was only running on adrenaline. I live actually only 30 minutes from Chain Reaction. It was a great turnout for only having a week to promote it. When I watched everybody perform at Chain Reaction, I was blown away. My boyfriend, who is a musician, said that this is the best band he has seen me play in by far. At the end of the performance, everybody got on stage and Jared went off script. Production was not happy. He had the crowd try to determine the winners, and of course Greystone got more cheers since they already have a built-in fan base from season 1, so I wasn't really surprised. They kicked everybody out to film the final scene. People had to wait about an hour or so in order to meet us. When we won, I was in complete shock. If I was in the judges' shoes, it would be very hard for me to choose a winner. It was also the points everyone won throughout the show per challenge, and this includes the side quest challenges. Overall, I had such a great experience. Would I do this again? I'm not so sure about that. Give me about a year and I will reconsider. Thank you guys for all the love and support. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Stay tuned for more music and drum related content. Bye bye for now.